please, and your title.
Yes, Andrew Lichty, Andrew Lichty, Project Manager, Rock Island District Corps of Engineers.
Okay, actually, we're going to switch sides. It looks better the other way, so come on this side. Yep. There you go. There you go. Okay. And then we just hug her right here. Hug the camera.
So you want me to just look at the camera, or I'm talking to you, so, okay.
Yep, try to forget the cameras there.
All right, good.
First question.
Okay. So you already just gave us a basic overview. Is there like any more in deep, like why exactly are you doing this? Like what's it about? What's all about it?
So people are familiar with the Asian carp, and they get a lot of publicity, obviously, because they take over the streams here in Illinois and lower Mississippi and Ohio River. There's a lot of work being done to prevent them from taking over a native species, and so they are here downstream. And so this is a control point here, as we believe it, as the High Head Dam just across from us here, 34-foot High Head Dam, and during flooding there's no opportunity for the fish to get over around that dam, even at high flood stages. So this lock chamber here is the pathway for them to get upstream. So we have an opportunity here to prevent them from moving further upstream.
How difficult is it to manage these Asian carp, like finding ways to stop them?
It's I'm not a biologist, but it is very difficult in terms that they eat the zooplankton and the food that smaller organisms would eat, so they outcompete the other organisms in their habitat by getting that food source from them, and so they can get very big and steal food sources away from the other native species.
As an engineer, when we were fixing up this project, you put many layers in place. Is that because there's no sure way to stop them, or you want to try as many as possible? What was the idea behind the multi-layers?
Yeah, great question. So we do want to have a layered defense system. There is no one single mechanism here to stop them. So we're looking at multiple measures to help have a layered defense. Includes, again, non-structural measures, commercial fishing, keep the population low at this point and try to keep the population pushed back downstream, and then have structural measures here that will try to prevent them from getting upstream, such as electric barrier, acoustics, and air bubble curtain here. And then we have also the electric barrier further upstream here in Romeoville, which is in operation now currently. So we have a management zone here to speak. So we've got an area to work with, so we've got the population pushed downstream, but if something gets in here, we have a monitoring and response group by our federal partners and agencies that are always monitoring the river here to see where those populations are, and then if needed we can do an actual response here on the river. So having a control management zone here to keep the main population downstream, and if something happens here we have alternatives to work on that.
And when you talk about the main population downstream, how close are we talking?
Just about 6 miles downstream here at the Rock Run Rookery, there is a carp there already, and we've got a barge coming here right beside us. So there are, not too far downstream, there's an adult population front, but Illinois has been commercial fishing and netting and so forth, and they've removed a lot of fish from that pool already, so we don't have any juvenile fishes up here at this area as I understand it, so it's adults here. And then further downstream, a couple locks down in those pools, there's a lot larger population.
Yeah.
So is this like the last line of defense against the Asian carp, or is there maybe a backup plan to all this?
I would say this is the last line of defense, because this is the known pathway here. So if something gets through this pathway, it gets up into the Chicago area waterway system, and it does branch out from there. So then we have more areas that we would need to try to control. So this point here, we got it kind of bottlenecked down to one point here that we have a better chance of trying to prevent from here, and once they get upstream then there's more control points to manage. So this is a key location here.
We're at a point now, you made the plan. Where we go from here?
So we submitted, the Chief of Engineers, Lieutenant General Semonite, signed the Chief's report in May, So the next steps now are to have a non-federal sponsor sign a design agreement with us, which is currently the state of Illinois is our non-federal sponsor. And also we need funding. So the state of Illinois would have to provide their portion of the funding as well as have funding from the federal government. So that could come here hopefully in the next fiscal year, the funding, but we still need the design agreement signed as well. And then we could begin pre-construction engineering and design.
Is time an issue?
Yeah, we want to get started as soon as possible and not allow these fish to get further upstream. So right now the commercial fishing and so forth are very actively doing that. That's already been ongoing here with Fish and Wildlife in the state of Illinois.
Okay. What else do we have?
I think we got it.
How important is this project? Like, this has to get done, correct?
Yeah, so this is very important to the protection of the Great Lakes, and so you know, there's a lot of habitat up in the Great Lakes, and including the tributaries that come in there that these fish could thrive in and take over. So we're very concerned about that. So we want to make sure that we do everything we can here as best as possible to prevent them from getting further upstream.
How confident are you that what you've designed is going to work?
We're fairly confident if we can have that layered system, all the measures put together. So you know, there's still a slight risk that they could get through, and so that's where our biologists and others have talked about what is that risk, you know, of a small amount get through as compared to a larger amount. So, but we think with all the measures that we have in place here, including the non-structural continued fishing and electric barrier and having these control zones, that we have a good shot at managing them, keeping them here and downstream.
All right. Anything else we missed? Anything else you want to add? Anything we need to know?
I think I covered it pretty good. I can't think of anything else right now. Those are the high points for sure.
Okay.
But timing schedule, again, you know, we're looking to get pre-construction engineering and design is the next step. So again, the design agreement and funding is what we need to move
So
forward.
if this gets greenlit from Congress and they send you some money,
Mm-hmm.
how long would it take then to put it into action?
Yeah, so we're looking at 3 to 4 years to complete the engineering and design, and then we could get into construction, which take about 6 to 8 years to get everything constructed. So right now we have about 5% of the design work done. We're working with a lot of conceptual measures here that have not been implemented anywhere else besides the electric barrier. Things have not been utilized in this type of capacity before, an engineered channel and acoustics and air bubbles to dislodge fish from the barges, and then how all that interacts in close proximity here. So we have electric barrier upstream, but this is in close proximity to where people are actually working. You know, how does that electricity affect the measures that we have? So we've got a lot of studies to do here on modeling to help provide our engineers the design they need to put this all together. What's the best way to construct it? And you know, we're looking for ways, you know, how to make it as efficient as possible and to operate as well as construct. So we have a lot of engineering work yet to do
6 to 8 years. That's a long
to
time
get
hold
constructed.
them off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So in that lead time too, again for the design phase, there's a lot of design yet to do. So you know, we're looking at 2 to 4 years of design. We have to do some hydraulic modeling here for this chamber as well as the engineered channel downstream.
And I think the cost $750 million. Is that where we're at, or is there a different number now?
Yeah, the final number that we had in the chief's report is 830 million. So it's 800, rounding up is 831 million.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. All right, we're just going to get a couple more shots of you if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to set up shot of the walking. Okay, so I'll just have you guys. Can you guys go down to about the big light pole there?
Right here?
We'll just have you just do a walk, talk about anything. Just walk right past the camera and forget it's there. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. I feel like I was really nervous during that.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't get to do a lot of like big things like this.
Sure.
And like, I'm really excited to have the opportunity. I was just very intimidated
Uh-huh.
because usually I interview like the school principal or something like that.
Oh, well, I hope I'm not too intimidating for you.
Oh no, during it
So-
I was freaking
yeah.
out.
Okay, guys. Actually, Morgan, come this way.
Okay.
This one?
Hmm.
Oh my god.
Breathe.
Ooh, it's hot out today.
It's warm today.
Wow.
Yeah. It's still summer.
Oh yeah.
rolling on that now? We rolling on that walking down?
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Do it
one
again?
more time.
Okay.
One more time.
Our